on YouTube. Today we are talking about episodes 5 and 6 of Daredevil Born Again. We had a beautiful back to back drop this week. But if you haven't seen the episodes yet, we are talking in a very spoiler based fashion here, okay? All of my thoughts will have the ability to go into spoilers. So if you haven't seen it, pause the video now, save it for later. Go watch episodes 5 and 6 and then come back and join the conversation in the comments about everything that you thought, okay? That's your spoiler warning, all right? So, we're going to obviously start from in succession 5 to 6. And I don't think 5 will take too much time to talk about because generally, out of the 6 episodes we've gotten so far, it is quote unquote the most disappointing in my opinion. I only say that because it's definitely a filler episode. It doesn't move the plot forward really in any way. That being said, it does come at a nice time in the season because before episode 5 we've already gotten to that point where Matt is very close to kind of getting back into that vigilante mentality and putting the suit on. Ooh. Excuse me. So it is nice to kind of see his mindset on that, and it was really cool to see the way they portrayed him. Kind of, yeah, his aura in that episode is nuts. It was nice to see them kind of portray his powers throughout the episode and show how he was kind of like the robber said to the cop, and then he ends up saying that to Kamala Khan's dad, which we will talk about in a second, of making them believe that they're in charge. And I think he does an excellent job of that. So that's kind of the general summarization of Matt in this episode. He gets put into a situation just strictly out of coincidence and his timing, and it allots him to be in the middle of a bank robbery, and we kind of see a man who's already at the end of his rope as far as trying to evade vigilantism, and kind of watch him teeter even closer to that in a sense, you know, quote unquote. So most important thing, or the most world building thing that happened this episode, was Kamala Khan's dad being there. And that kind of adds to what I was talking about as far as this being a filler episode, because the only intelligence and new information we gained had nothing to do with Daredevil. Which isn't bad in my, like, because I love the world and I like to hear what other heroes are doing, like, even if we can't physically check in with them, so it's nice that we kind of get that. But yeah, so it's just circumstance. He goes there, he's the bank manager, and he's trying to get a loan from the bank, and they have this great conversation which Matt really lays out how important being a defense attorney is, especially in the state of New York in their world, which I really like. It's very well worded. And then he's also talking about his daughter, and what we learned from Kamala's dad is that she is in California right now. And she has her own Funko Pop, which I thought was really cool. And that's pretty much it. So it was cool to hear about her. It was nice to get the name drop. It seems as though this might not be the last time that we see her dad for the season. So we will see. The whole episode, it's a fun episode. It's a fun time, but it's not necessary. They could have plucked it out and it would have changed anything from 4 to 6, right? So, episode 6. We finally get back to it, where we're at in the story, right? We get more of Hector Ayala's niece. We get more of the Wilson Fisk story. We get Daredevil. And then we get more Muse, which is really great. So this was the craziest thing. I didn't realize that through the episodes, the all of the portraits we were seeing were done by him. I just assumed they were showing street graffiti to kind of give life to the city, um, and not really realizing that every single one of them was something that he had done. So in them kind of laying that out for you, you realize how many pieces he's done, which means you realize how many victims he has. And they put his body count somewhere over 60 or more, which is insane. And I like that with that piece of knowledge, they've essentially been building to him without you really being aware, which I thought was very neat. And the way that they deliver that like information to you is really cool. And it's like a blend of like, okay, first Matt is given the vigilante information from Ayala's niece about kind of where a lot of the abductions are taking place, and they're taking place across this abandoned train railroad. So gives him that information. Can you do something about this? And he's so close, and he's like, I don't like. What do you want me to do? This is like police stuff. And she says something beautiful, like, the police killed my uncle. I'm not gonna go to them with this. And he's like, that's fair. So then you get it with, then you flip to the other half, which is Kingpin, where you get the sanitation people trying to remove a big portrait, which I don't know how he did. It's on the side of a building. And they find out that it's mixed with like a special epoxy and human blood in the paint, which makes it incredibly challenging to remove. And that's kind of how it starts to unfold over there. And that's when you find the body count, and you see the collection of murals, and they've got the police chief and a lot of the mayor. We got a lot of the staff that work for the mayor, since I can't get that word out. And then you jump back, and I like the finishing note is like, the niece says it in passing, right? She's like, my uncle is right. Don't trust anybody with something you can just handle yourself. So then we know, as an audience member, we're going to find her down there. And then Cherry comes to Matt after hours at the law firm, and kind of gives him the information about the 60 bodies, the mass murderer on the loose, and you can tell that piques his interest more, because Cherry tells him to just stay out of it and let the police officers handle it, right? But you can tell that that's piqued his interest, and he's kind of daddling and connecting it to that information he's already been given. Because then the next time you see Matt, he's at home researching and looking into the railroad system. And then finally, you get the final note. And this was perfect. You get the final note. He gets a call. It's Hector's wife, or his sister. Gets the call and he picks up. Have you heard from so-and-so? She said she was coming to see her. She's still not home. It's nothing like her. She's never done anything like this before. I haven't heard from her since. And then finally, it clicks. And he's like, okay, don't move. Stay right there. He hangs up. He starts to call 911. And then you can kind of see it. You can see that moment right as the 911 operator picks up. Or Matt just stops and just goes, you can see the gears turning. They're going to take too long. By the time they get there, she's going to be dead. And he just says, fuck it. Throws the phone. Throws the fucking suit on. That is fucking Daredevil. Oh my god. It's so... God. It's so great to finally see the suit put on. And that means we're here. We're back in Vigilante territory for the final leg of the show. The thing that this show continues to do the best, which is what me and my girl were talking about, and she brings up a lot, which I appreciate, is that this show has always, from the original season of Daredevil, and even more in season 3 of the Netflix season, this show loves to do the comparison and show the evolution of both Matt and Kingpin almost at the same time, like in succession. Like they've consistently done these things in the manner of we're doing something here with this character that resonates with the other, or vice versa, or what this character is talking about relates to this character, or vice versa. And it feels like they really, and I mean this so genuinely, it feels like with Born Again, they really understood the mission when it came to using them as parallels for one another. And it has been incredible. So after Daredevil suits up and Wilson Fisk just gets absolutely railroaded at this mayor fundraiser, and he needs to let out that anger. In the same vein of him going down to Adam locked in the cell, you have the buildup of Muse putting Ayala's niece on the table, getting her ready to start taking her blood, and then him kind of almost hearing something, and then you see Daredevil sprint at him, and you see this combination of the buildup with Daredevil's fight with Muse and the approachment to that, and Wilson just giving this great, quick little story of when I was young, I took on men 2 or 3 times my size, and I always found that an instrument could change the odds. And he comes down there with the axe, and at first you feel like maybe he's gonna cut his hands off because of the way Vanessa described it. Maybe he's just gonna kill them with it in the same way that he killed his dad with the hammer. No, he unlocks the cell and throws the axe to Adam to give Adam a fair fight against him. Because this man, if anything, above all else, being crazy, meticulated, autistic, deranged, he has this unbelievable raw strength. And you see it. And they do this beautiful, beautiful parallel and comparison of them fighting at the same time. Daredevil fighting Muse, Fisk fighting Adam. Fighting is a loose term with Fisk. They do this comparison with Daredevil fighting Muse, Fisk fighting Adam. And they're almost like trading blows where they are one and the same. It almost feels like in that moment, Fisk and Daredevil are embodying the same savagery and the same animalistic natures, right? And they're showing as Daredevil hits a punch on Muse, who's laying on a table, they cross over to Kingpin, who just did the same move to Adam, who's also laying on a table. And they do this beautiful, beautiful blend of the full culmination of both of them, the way they've been doing all season, of both of them kind of clashing at their internal true selves, of him fighting away the want to be a vigilante, and Kingpin fighting away that violent criminal nature. And at the same time, the show is showing you them clash and finally come to that moment where they are back to that inner, like that inner naturalness about themselves. It is incredible. It is so well done. This show has just been so good when it comes to the Matt and the Fisk duality, and the way that they've used the editing and essentially the cinematography to kind of even better portray that, including the way that the story points have already been hitting on it. It has just been truly fantastic. And it's nothing to gawk about. It is so good. So good. The Wilson and Vanessa stuff I'm really enjoying. I continue to be intrigued on how their relationship is going to culminate at the end of the season. I'm so excited. Oh, and another really big thing we see the beginning of Wilson Fisk's anti-vigilante task force, and he essentially rounds up all of the bad cops and basically just gives them more free reign to do whatever the fuck they want. Which is so. If you would have told me a show that was supposed to premiere over a year ago that got stripped away to the bones and rewritten and reworked would somehow be this amazing metaphor and allegory to what's currently going on in our own political stances in the United States, I would tell you that's silly because the show was written so much before some of the things that are happening, and to know that it played out that way is so well done. It's truly full marks to them. I think that with the exception of episode 5, which I still think is a good episode, it's a fun time, but it's not important to the story. With the exception of episode 5, if this show continues its mark on building the suspense and the story between Fisk and Daredevil and what they're doing to move them to that, this could become the best season of MCU television that Disney Plus has done. Because it seems like they really know what they're doing. It seems when they decided to retool this, they knew what they were going for. So I am so very happy with these 2 episodes. They picked a good 2 episodes to drop back to back. I understand that they did it for Andor, but I still approve of the decision to pick these 2 episodes to do it with. And I can't wait for the final 3 episodes. But the most important thing out of all of it is what you guys thought. Did you like episodes 5 and 6? Did you not like 5 and 6? Are you excited to see where the final 3 episodes go? We're 2/3 of the way through, just 3 more to go, and that is it. I cannot wait, and I cannot wait to hear your thoughts. So let me know about all of that good stuff down in the comments, and as always, while you're there, make sure you hit the subscribe button, you hit the like button, and you hit the notification bell for any time we drop our Daredevil spoiler reviews or any other videos having to do with trailers or movies or television. And until next time, guys, please, you know where to find me.